Adam, we got some midweek analysis, so we're going to start off the field and we're going to go above the field a little bit because, as you can see, right in between our heads is the video board, which CU fans have labeled as the small video board, right? And it looks kind of small as we're standing right here, but yeah. CU announces this morning that they are going to build a brand new video board in time for the 2024 season, more than 5 times bigger than the one that you can see right back there. So I know fans are excited. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this was needed to get done, and I think the excitement around Colorado football to get that funding, this is good timing in that regard. I put a picture up when I was down on the field before the USC game, and there were actually multiple people coming back that they really need to upgrade Folsom Field, and really there's not a whole lot aside from the west side and the video boards. I don't want them messing with this place too much. It's got a charm to it. It's one of the best venues in college football. I understand that there's some old bones around here, and they do need to upgrade the west side, but I hope they don't do too much, but that's one thing that definitely needed to get done.
Yeah, it's definitely needed. They've upgraded the sound in the past, and now it's time for that video board. And man, you go look around other stadiums, and the video boards kind of put this one to shame a little bit. And this is a basketball arena, but on Monday night I was covering the women's team in Las Vegas against LSU, and it was the first time I've ever seen this. Maybe I just haven't been around, but at T-Mobile Arena, they have the huge video board that's above, but there's like TVs underneath it too, where you can see, the people that are sitting lower, they can see better there. So what they've done with video boards in recent years is pretty amazing, and CU needs to catch up.
The only problem, though, is and I've done this at Nuggets games, is you end up watching the video board instead of you paid a ticket to get in somewhere to watch something with your own eyes, and then you're watching a TV basically. So that's the only downfall of it. But no, you got to keep up with the Joneses, and that's the plan here in terms of the video board going forward.
Well, we'll find out how many people pay to watch TV for that North Dakota State game here at Folsom Field at that opener next year. But on the field, we've had a chance to talk to a few buffs this week. We didn't really talk about Mark Vassett. Talked to us on Tuesday. We didn't talk about him yesterday, but just real briefly, he's had a really good season. I mean, kind of a rough start early on. I wouldn't say rough, but maybe not as good as I would have thought for him being one of the all-ACC punters last year. But he's really come along and had a pretty nice year.
We've had some guys where we say it's the Mikey Harrison game that going to CSU, and it was almost the Mark Vassett game against Stanford when he pinned that ball at the 1-yard line. I was like, man, that would have been fun for him. But, he's done his job, and his ability to get some of those directional punts down inside the 10-yard line have been really impressive this year. I don't have a whole lot of analysis beyond that for the punter, but, he's been one of their more reliable football players this season.
Well, one of the problems is, and as we transition away from the punter, is that 3 times he's pinned the opponent inside the 5, and all 3 times the opponent has gone down and scored. And that's one of the problems. One of the reasons why we're sitting here at 4-5 is this team is not played consistently enough to take advantage of those opportunities, right? And that obviously killed them in the Stanford game. This defense, though, has played much better the last couple of weeks. They've had a couple of solid weeks in a row. Levonta Bentley talked to us about that today, and they've looked solid. They've kept this team in games the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, just to kind of go back to your point of Mark Vassett pinning teams and then they still score. And then you look at this defense that has been very opportunistic, one of the better teams in the country at getting takeaways this season. And then the offense isn't resulting in that. So you always hear that word, complementary football. They just aren't playing complementary football, and that's another example of it. But Bentley has been one of the most improved players on this football team. When Jawan Mitchell kind of emerged, we didn't see as much Vonta Bentley out there, but we've seen a lot of him in recent weeks, and he's been flying around and having a big impact on this team. And if he's played a lot of college football, but he's got another year of eligibility if he wants to come back and play for Colorado. And I think at this point you'd definitely welcome him back with open arms if he's wanting to come back and play another year in Boulder.
Yeah, especially the way he's been playing the last few weeks. I mean, I think it's 4 or 5 straight games with a tackle for loss. He's got some sacks in there. I think he got a sack of his old buddy DJ from Clemson the other day. So I never want to try to pronounce that name because I never get it right. But we also talked to Xavier Weaver this week, and he's obviously having a fantastic season. He's on pace for 1,000 yards, and he let us know that he didn't start on Saturday against Oregon State because He kind of messed up a little bit off the field and didn't get that start, but he came back and was able to make some plays there. Good for him taking accountability on that one, but he's been pretty good all year.
Yeah, and it'd be nice for him to have a huge send-off here at Folsom Field on Saturday against Arizona. It's kind of strange the way that Colorado is listing guys. I think they only say there's one senior on the team, but I believe this is right, there's 11 scholarship guys that their eligibility ends at the end of the season. Now, there's going to be some roster turnover, and it's not going to be just 11 guys leaving the program, but those 11 guys, we can say this is going to be their final home game. And so Xavier Weaver is one of those that I hope Colorado fans take a second to appreciate it. He's on pace for a 1,000-yard season. He's been one of, maybe, would you say this, outside of Shedeur, he's been maybe the most consistent player on an inconsistent offense this year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because Travis is, I would say that, but he was hurt and missed a few games. But when Travis is healthy, he's there. But Xavier Weaver, outside of Shedeur, every single week. I mean, he even had a game where it was like only 7 yards receiving, something like that, but he had the big punt return, and then he also had a running touchdown. So yeah, he's probably the most consistent guy.
Let's throw out the names of the other guys, because they didn't get shine, I think, at the press conference earlier this week. Cavossier Smoke, this is his final game at running back. Javon Antonio at receiver. On the offensive line, Landon Beebe, who hasn't played great, but I think of those guards has been the one that maybe has played the best this season so far. Reggie Young on the offensive line. We haven't seen him recently. Is he still injured at this point?
I think he's still hurt. He wasn't dressed the other night.
Okay. And then on the defensive line, Taj Alston missed last game. This will be his last day at Folsom Field on game day. Leonard Payne Jr., who's come on as the season's gone along. He had a really good game against Oregon State. Who else you got there? Jordan Dominic. Roderick Ward. And then at linebacker, you've got Jawan Mitchell and Brendan Gant, who I didn't see out there last week.
Is Gant done, or does he have one more year?
I think this is it for him.
Okay,
I'll double check that.
Okay, I didn't know for sure on him, but yeah. But there's guys certainly that have made impacts, and Roderick Ward has played some good football lately. Jordan Dominic has been really good as well. So there are some guys that this will be their last time, and hopefully Buff fans will. Obviously, we know it's a sellout crowd, but hopefully they'll show up to give those guys some props, even though they're just first year Buffs. They're going to be 1 year Buffs.
Senior days are probably just going to look different in college football for going forward. As long as this transfer portal is the way it is, it's going to be rare that you find those guys that come in a high school, go through ups and downs, and stay through 4 or 5 years and get to that senior day. So you just got to appreciate the time that they were here. And Zay Weaver, Jordan Dominic, they've had big plays here. Roderick Ward, you got to commend him stepping up and being part of this defensive improvement. So definitely some guys that deserve a lot of claps on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back later on this week for some analysis of the game.